Just it's taking away all those choices for me. I'm struggling with my identity and what does it mean? And
Jamila and Mary and Christine were hard on Robyn. And Robyn's like going, well, I didn't do this to you. I didn't do this. Why are you this way?
Being mean to me.
And frankly,
The room goes quiet the second money comes up. Faces tighten, voices slow down. Everyone feels the shift. A normal family talk slips into something heavy, something uneasy. This feels different. This feels dangerous. One sentence lands wrong, then another, and suddenly no one wants to finish a thought out loud. What started as numbers on paper now carries fear in every pause. Why does a simple question about money leave everyone frozen? Stay with me here, because this early moment sets the tone for everything. The episode opens without fireworks, yet tension sits thick in the air. Kody speaks first, steady voice, controlled posture, eyes locked forward. Robyn stays close, nodding, offering soft support, almost rehearsed. Across the room, Christine watches quietly. Janelle listens with arms crossed. Mary barely reacts. Yet something sharp sits behind her eyes. Money gets framed as confusion, misunderstanding, crossed wires. Nobody laughs. Nobody relaxes. Here is where discomfort creeps in, slow and steady. The words gift and loan start bouncing around the room. Same cash. Different meaning, different memory. Each wife hears a version shaped only for her. Kody shifts language with ease. Robyn follows his lead. The story changes depending on who listens. No one calls this out yet. Silence does the talking. And this silence feels loud. Christine breaks eye contact first. A breath leaves her chest like relief mixed with dread. She speaks calmly, not angry, not loud. Her tone carries certainty. She explains how one decision gets sold as family benefit, then reshaped again behind closed doors. One promise turns into 4 versions. The room stiffens. Someone tries to redirect. Someone interrupts. The topic slides sideways. Pause right here, because this deflection matters. The conversation circles back to money, then drifts away again. Kody keeps control by staying vague. Robyn leans into loyalty, offering comfort without clarity. Janelle presses lightly, then pulls back. Mary stays cautious. Every face shows something different, yet no one says everything. Something feels buried beneath this talk. A strange pattern starts forming. The same cash means security for one person, sacrifice for another. Words sound clean, yet memories feel messy. Christine sees this pattern clearly. Others seem unsure. The air grows thicker. Nobody names the risk. Nobody names the fear. Listen closely here, because this part changes perspective. This no longer feels like family tension. This feels like avoidance. Every time the truth edges closer, someone redirects. Every time clarity appears, confusion returns. Kody keeps steering. Robyn keeps agreeing. The others hesitate, unsure where loyalty ends and self-respect begins. Money becomes a shield. Language becomes armor. And right here, the episode shows something deeper without saying a word. Control hides inside calm voices. Power hides inside paperwork. A simple house becomes a symbol of imbalance. One side gains comfort, others carry loss. The talk stays polite, yet something rotten sits underneath. Hold on to this feeling, because nothing resolves here. To understand why this moment feels so wrong, you have to rewind a bit. For years, this family speaks one language when cameras roll. Shared money, shared goals, shared sacrifice. Those words repeat season after season until they sound permanent. Almost sacred. Every wife gives something up so the family moves forward together. That story stays steady for a long time, but lately, something starts to crack. In the recent episodes, money stops feeling like a team effort and starts feeling personal. Conversations grow careful, sentences trail off. The easy confidence from earlier seasons fades. The family still talks about one pot, one vision, one future, yet the tone shifts. It feels thinner, less certain. You hear it in the pauses. At first, the issue seems small. A house purchase here, a contribution there, nothing explosive. Yet the way people remember those moments never matches. One person says gift, another says loan. Someone else avoids labels completely. Each time this comes up, the mood changes. Smiles tighten, eyes drop. The camera catches discomfort nobody wants to explain. There is irony here, and it is hard to miss. This family builds its identity on fairness, on balance, on trust earned through years of sacrifice. Yet now, the same people struggle to agree on basic facts. Who paid what? Who promised what? Who owes who? The story keeps shifting, not loudly, quietly, like sand moving underfoot. Christine starts reacting first, not dramatic, more reflective. She listens longer than she speaks. Janelle pushes with logic, then retreats. Mary stays guarded, careful not to give too much away. Kody speaks with confidence, though his explanations feel rehearsed. Robyn supports him softly, repeating his framing almost word for word. This part matters more than it seems. Nobody accuses anyone outright. Nobody raises their voice. Still, tension grows. The audience senses something off, though the show never spells it out. The more they talk about unity, the more divided they look. The more they stress shared sacrifice, the clearer it becomes that not everyone paid the same price. Christine watches all of this unfold with a stillness that feels deliberate. She does not rush in. She waits. Her eyes move from face to face, tracking the story as it changes shape. When she finally speaks, the tone shifts. Her voice stays calm, though the message cuts clean. She does not argue over numbers. She talks about patterns, about how one plan gets sold as family benefit, then rewritten later to fit a different goal. This is where the contrast sharpens. While others circle the same confusion, Christine sounds clear. She explains how decisions move through the family. One wife hears one thing, another hears something else. Each story fits the listener. Each version creates friction. Her words land heavy because they explain more than money. They explain why everyone feels uneasy. She is not guessing. She is naming something she has watched for years. Listen close here, because this moment matters. Kody responds fast. He reframes. He talks over the point instead of meeting it. Robyn nods, offering reassurance without substance. Janelle shifts in her seat. Mary looks down. The conversation moves away from what Christine said, not because it lacks sense, but because it carries risk. Her clarity threatens comfort. Christine keeps going anyway. She talks about how conflict never reaches the source, how it bounces between wives instead, how frustration grows sideways. Her words feel less like commentary and more like warning. She is not blaming. She is explaining cause and effect. Yet the room resists. People interrupt. The topic drifts. Someone jokes. Someone sighs. Pause here and feel the tension. This is not loud drama. This is quiet dismissal. Christine speaks truth without raising her voice, and still nobody meets her where she stands. The frustration shows in her posture, shoulders straight, hands still. She knows what she sees. She knows others feel it too, though they refuse to say it. The saddest part sits in what does not happen next. This is where Kody's behavior starts to feel heavier. The tone shifts. His voice stays calm, yet the message changes depending on who sits across from him. With one wife, the story sounds practical. With another, it sounds emotional. With someone else, it turns defensive. Same topic, new meaning. The pattern becomes easier to spot once you slow down and watch how the words move. Pay attention to timing here. Kody rarely lies outright on camera. He redirects. He reframes. He speaks in broad ideas, not specifics. When pressed, he shifts focus. When challenged, he changes context. One wife hears reassurance. Another hears pressure. Each leaves the conversation believing she holds the full picture. None of them do. The camera cuts between interviews, and the dots start lining up. Janelle recalls conversations one way. Mary remembers something else. Robyn repeats a version that feels polished. Christine hears contradiction in all of it. Kody stands at the center, steady, composed, while confusion grows around him. This is not chaos. This is structure. Each message serves a purpose. Each version creates distance. Pause right here, because this is the uncomfortable part. When wives talk separately, the gaps widen. When they speak together, Kody fills the space with explanation before questions form. He stays one step ahead. The viewer senses intention without needing proof. The story keeps stopping right before clarity arrives. Then it moves again. Unease builds in the pause. Robyn often supports his framing. Soft voice, emotional language, loyalty sits at the center of her responses. She speaks about intention, not outcome, about feeling, not effect. This shields the story from scrutiny. Kody leans into that support. He relaxes when she speaks. Christine does not. She listens and clocks the differences. Her expression tightens when the words stop matching. She sees how blame moves sideways, how tension shifts between wives instead of upward. The viewer connects it too. This is not miscommunication. This is design. The episode never spells this out. It does not need to. The audience feels unsettled without resolution. Each wife holds a piece of truth. Kody holds the map. The conclusion sits close, yet never lands. The story moves forward again, leaving the viewer stuck in the gap between explanation and belief, waiting for the moment when someone finally pulls the threads together. The focus tightens once Robyn's house enters the frame. The air changes again. This time, the tension feels sharper, closer to the bone. The conversation stops floating and lands on one solid point. Money for the house, where it came from, what it was called. Who benefits now? This is where words start failing. On screen, the language sounds careful. Gift gets said out loud, then loan slips in later. Same money, different meaning. The tone shifts each time the label changes. What once felt settled now feels unstable. The audience remembers earlier seasons. Family money, one pot, everyone contributes, everyone shares. That story plays in the background while this new version unfolds. And the two stories do not line up. Robyn speaks softly about intention. She frames everything as support, as family helping family. Her face stays calm. Her voice stays measured. Yet the result sits right there. A house, stability, comfort. While others talk about loss, uncertainty, and waiting, the contrast grows heavier with every sentence. This part presses hard. When the word gift lands, silence follows. A gift implies no return, no debt, no expectation. Yet later, talk of repayment appears. The language bends again. The audience feels the strain. Something does not fit. The story told now clashes with the story told then. The show never explains the gap. It lets it sit. Watch how deflection works here. Whenever details come close, the conversation shifts to feelings, to stress, to exhaustion, to misunderstanding. Numbers disappear, definitions blur. Robyn stays aligned with Kody's version, even when it changes shape. She avoids specifics. She stays inside loyalty. That choice carries weight. Christine reacts without drama. Her expression tightens. She hears the contradiction. Janelle listens and frowns. Mary stays guarded, almost withdrawn. No one pushes too far. Silence protects the moment from collapsing under scrutiny. And this silence speaks loud. The audience starts counting without numbers. Who gained? Who gave? Who waited? The house stands as proof without needing explanation. Comfort exists on one side. Strain shows on the others. Words fail to bridge that gap. Every attempt feels thin. Frustration settles in. Not loud anger, something heavier. The sense that truth hides in plain sight while nobody names it. The benefit feels clear. The cost feels uneven. And the refusal to address it openly leaves the room thick with tension, waiting for a break that does not come yet. The conversation tightens once the NDA enters the picture. The mood shifts fast. Shoulders stiffen, voices drop. What sounded like a solution now feels like a wall sliding into place. A legal document sits between these people, quiet yet heavy. The family talks about peace, yet fear hums under every word. This part feels closed in. Kody explains the NDA as protection. Protection from noise, protection from chaos, protection from public fights. The words sound calm, almost reasonable. Robyn supports the idea with soft agreement. Her tone stays gentle. Her body leans forward. Loyalty fills the space where clarity should sit. Nobody raises a voice. Nobody relaxes either. Silence starts doing the work. Mary reacts first. Her face tightens. She listens, then pushes back. The NDA does not feel safe to her. The language sounds like control dressed as care. She worries about losing her voice. She worries about losing the right to speak truth later. The tension spikes, though nobody names the fear out loud. Oh, pause here, because this reaction matters. Christine watches closely. She sees the pattern again. Money talk leads to silence. Disagreement leads to paperwork. The room grows smaller with every explanation. Janelle stays cautious. She weighs each word before speaking. The pressure shows on her face. No one wants to cross the wrong line. The NDA stops sounding optional. Kody keeps his tone even. He speaks about respect, about boundaries, about family unity. Yet the effect feels different. The document draws a clear line. Speak freely or keep peace. Loyalty or independence. The choice never gets stated, though everyone feels the weight. Robyn looks shaken here. Her calm slips for a moment. Frustration flashes across her face. She talks about stress, about feeling attacked, about wanting the fighting to end. Panic hides beneath the softness. The audience senses worry without needing explanation. Calm words fight rising fear. This part presses hard on the chest. Christine sees the danger. She hears silence replacing honesty. The NDA feels less like safety and more like a lid pushed down tight. Once signed, stories stay locked. Once signed, questions stop. Nobody needs to say this out loud. The tension speaks for itself. The room holds its breath. Nobody signs on camera. Nobody walks away either. The moment stretches, eyes flicker, hands fidget. The audience feels the pressure building with no release. A family once built on shared truth now debates who deserves silence. Nothing feels resolved. The document remains. Fear lingers. Calm faces mask deeper panic. The sense of containment settles in, heavy and close, leaving the viewer uneasy and unable to look away. The energy shifts once the cameras stop rolling and the public sees the aftermath. Fans react immediately. Social media lights up with anger, disbelief, and frustration. Comments question decisions, motives, and loyalties. What seemed private now feels exposed. What once felt like family dynamics now reads like betrayal. The tension extends beyond the screen and settles on viewers like a weight. Trust begins to fracture. People ask why money was called a gift and then a loan. They wonder why the NDA exists. They notice how Robyn stayed quiet, how Kody controlled the story, and how Christine's warnings went unheard. The clarity she held feels almost tragic because no one else acted on it. Fans feel the gap between honesty and deception. They feel it in every pause, every deflection, every calculated smile. The fallout lands hardest on relationships within the family. Robyn faces criticism for remaining loyal to a version of the story that benefits her materially, while others wait for truth. Kody is judged for orchestrating chaos and triangulating the wives, creating conflicts that keep attention away from financial discrepancies. Janelle and Mary face pressure for navigating loyalties and deciding whether to speak up or step back. Each choice carries weight, yet each option seems trapped in compromise. The viewer senses the personal cost. Arguments that played out quietly on camera now feel loud in retrospect. Fans empathize with the wives caught in silence, with Christine watching clarity go unheeded, and with those who quietly bear the consequences. The conflict is no longer abstract, it is tangible. The question isn't just who is right or wrong, it is who pays for staying silent, who suffers when honesty is avoided, and who is left holding the damage afterward. Anger mixes with sadness. Audiences are frustrated that wrongdoing, perceived or real, gets swept into vague justifications. They are sad for the people caught in systems of loyalty that force complicity. They feel the unfairness of wealth, comfort, and security landing in some hands while others bear the emotional and financial weight. The camera captures moments of laughter, smiles, and routine family interaction, but the context now reads heavy. The contrast makes the fallout feel sharper. By the end of this part, the breaking point looms. Viewers feel it in their chest, a mix of outrage, disbelief, and sorrow. They are pulled into the swirl of consequences, while unable to ignore how choices, or the refusal to confront them, reshape trust. Every glance, every quiet word, every nod or hesitation becomes proof that the tension goes beyond television. It hits real human nerves. And as the scene closes, the audience is left wondering how anyone in this family will ever fully recover. The final moments settle into a quiet weight. The room feels heavy, not with words, but with everything left unsaid. Power lingers in the background, subtle and persistent. Kody's control, once hidden behind calm tones and careful explanations, now sits in plain view. It presses on every conversation, every glance, every pause. The audience sees how influence shapes choices and behavior, how silence protects some while limiting others. Robyn's role feels equally complicated. She remains calm, polite, almost dutiful in appearance, yet the benefit she gains from these decisions is undeniable. The house, the comfort, the stability, all hang in contrast with the frustration, confusion, and doubt of the other wives. Loyalty shields her from scrutiny on screen, but the audience can feel the tension under the surface. Her silence and compliance, once framed as care or support, now reads as participation in a system of control. Christine's clarity casts a long shadow. Her warnings, overlooked by the others, stand out as a thread of truth. She watches, calm yet unyielding, and the audience senses the frustration she must carry. The contrast between what she sees and what others accept is sharp. Every misstep, every shifting story, Every moment of deflection becomes heavier under her steady observation. The viewer is left holding pieces of the story without resolution. The money, the NDA, the manipulation, they remain unresolved. Questions hang. How far did control extend? How much trust was lost? How many truths were hidden beneath calm tones and polite words? The tension refuses to release. It stretches across the relationships, across the family, and into the audience's mind. This part is slow but heavy. It feels like the quiet after a storm, where the damage is visible but the cleanup has not begun. The weight of unspoken power, the unacknowledged betrayal, and the lingering fear make every word feel loaded. Even when voices are soft, the stakes are clear. Every silence now feels intentional. Every glance now feels calculated. The audience senses the magnitude of what remains unresolved. And just when you think it might end, a curiosity pulls harder. What happens next when the cracks widen? When patience runs out? When truth meets silence in ways that cannot be ignored? The questions settle in, leaving the viewer unable to look away. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments where you feel trust truly broke in this family. Was it the handling of the money, the NDA, or the constant shifting stories? I want to know your thoughts. Your perspective matters here, because this story is heavy, layered, and far from over. The fallout continues, and the next chapter promises even more tension. What would you do if you were in their place?